Welcome to John Esser Sports Channel, where we are doing the championship predictions for week 7. Yeah, we're in week 7. We're going straight in with Friday's game, which is West Brom versus Leicester City. The table shows Leicester in 4th, West Brom in 7th, and both of these teams really struggling for form at the minute, or rather struggling for results in the case of Leicester. They seem to be having the play but not quite getting the edge to get it in the net. West Brom, we have last 6, draw, win, lose, lose. Last time out, the Borough game, of course, a late goal there for West Brom, still made no difference. West Brom would have been the one coming away feeling hard done by here, because they really should have got at least a point from this game, I thought, but they didn't. It was a 2-1 win to Borough. Leicester City, on the other hand, draw, lose, win, lose, draw, lose, win, draw. See, they just, after a Charlton win and a Birmingham win, they get an Oxford draw 2-2 and a Coventry draw 0-0. Was it really a 0-0? Well, this is what I mean. You know, Leicester City really at home do a lot of good work, and they had most of the ball. They had some really good passing, really clinical. Tended to be doing it a lot in their own half. However, they did actually have 17 shots against Coventry's 11. Two very good attacking sides, remember, so they were attacking each other. They certainly weren't not doing that. Why there weren't goals here, I haven't a clue. This just it wasn't a 0-0 game. Leicester City will be feeling aggrieved they didn't get something more than a draw from it. So what are you all saying? 1-1, 2-1, 1-2, 1-0, 0-2. You know, they're all over the place. And to be honest, looking at how things have been going, I think Leicester might sneak this one. Just might sneak this one. West Brom not being very good at home. Leicester City a bit aggrieved at all those shots, not getting one in the net. However, I'm actually gonna say West Brom are gonna just improve this week. And I'm going to West Brom 1, Leicester City 1. Then we move on to Coventry versus Birmingham. It's our Saturday fixture at 12:30. And Coventry, as we said last time out, played Leicester City 0-0, so we don't need to cover that one. They'll be quite happy, I think, that they managed to get a 0-0 draw. But they were attacking and they could have nicked it. They really could have. Because it finished 0-0, it would have been very easy for their fans to think that they could have got away with a 1-0 draw, 1-0 win here. Coventry win, lose, draw. Really is 3 draws, 2-2, 1-1, 0-0. You can't get minus, can you? They do seem to be going quite well on the draws, don't they? And this Coventry side have been playing so well. Look, they didn't play badly against Leicester City. The stats show that they certainly had their chances. They certainly had their shots. Not as clinical as I would have liked. The passing was good. It was just better by Leicester City's standards. So I think that they've really been probably playing the wrong team at the wrong time. They got a draw against Norwich, 90 plus 6 minutes for that draw, and Coventry were 28 shots, but only 4 on target in that game. And if you can only score 1 goal on 90 plus 6 minutes out of 28 shots, there's something wrong. I don't care what you say, Coventry fans, that is a statistic in itself. Look, I don't follow statistics all the time. A lot of the time there's bits in it you can pull. That statistic, though, is quite mean, isn't it? So it's Coventry versus Birmingham, and we'll just have a look at this the placings. Coventry in 6th, Birmingham in 8th. And to be quite honest, if you look at that, Coventry, yeah, they've got 4 draws out of their 6 games, so it's heavily draw-ridden. Birmingham win, lose, win. They seem to be finding it a little bit tough up front, actually getting the goals. Certainly the last 4 games they've scored 1 goal. The last 5 games they've scored 2. It's not looking good up front. They seem to be I mean, like Blackburn 2-1 win, Oxford 1-0 win, and Swansea 1-0 win. You know, they're very much let's just grab this win. The last game, of course, Birmingham 1, Swansea 0. 90 plus 4 minutes for that Birmingham goal. 90 plus 4 minutes. And it was a game just like the Leicester City. Was it the last game that we were talking about? Leicester, 23 shots. 23 shots, just like Coventry. So both these teams in their last game had over 20 shots, but Birmingham had 7 of them on target and 1 in the net. My word, if this game has 40 odd shots, this is going to be a game to watch for the neutral, isn't it? Absolutely. Can you imagine it? I think that Birmingham could actually equal Coventry, and we could have an absolute humdinger of a game, because the Birmingham defence, actually, credit to them, they only allowed Swansea in twice to have a shot on target. And for that reason, I'm sort of looking at this Coventry-Birmingham, and I want to know what you think, actually. 1-1, 1-0, so it's Coventry at home, 1-1, 1-0, 3-1, 3-1, 2-1, 2-1. And I'm looking at this and thinking, everybody's thinking that Coventry will have this at home, but they've been drawing rather a lot. I don't want to go for the draw. I'm going to play my joker. I think that this could go either way, and it could be a 3-1 either way. But I'm gonna just sit off fenced slightly. I'm gonna go Coventry 1, Birmingham 2. Please do like and subscribe. Tell me down below what you think as we go into the next game, which is Swansea versus Millwall, another 12:30 game. We've got Swansea in 11th, Millwall in 10th. The second highest club, Millwall, to have a negative goal difference. Just think about that as we go. Swansea can score. Draw, win, lose against Birmingham. This was the interesting one there. It was Birmingham having all those shots. Swansea actually letting them have all these shots for one start. Last game was Millwall, of course, which we covered. And Swansea really there. They didn't really get into that final third with enough quality to be able to get and see the goal enough for me. 2 shots on target. Pretty good passing, though. It was pretty good passing to watch as a game. It was okay. Watford was the last time Millwall played. Watford, they won 1-0 at home. What's theirs? Win, lose, draw, win. So pretty much similar in the last 4. Very, very much similar. That Watford game, though, for Millwall 1, Watford, there's too many W's, 0. And again, Millwall doing the biz at home. Yeah, but they have been off and on at home for me, not being consistent enough at home. This particular game, pretty average. I think 1-0 was probably about right, although Watford, I think Watford were more of an attacking force in that game. It's just that Millwall managed to hold them at bay quite nicely from midfield and defence point of view. So it's Swansea versus Millwall. It's a very, very difficult one for me to look at this one, because I don't think there's going to be I think it's going to be sort of like there's a chance that Swansea can still score quite a lot of goals, but they can really score well, and they get 1, 2 goals or even 3 goals. They're quite capable of doing that. But then, like at Birmingham, they can just get pulled off the attacking and pulled off the back foot, and they sort of playing from the back instead of from pushing forward. That Swansea side we know can attack. That's the problem. and that they'll want to get back after that defeat against Birmingham. Millwall, on the other hand, if you look at their away record, draw going back in time, draw, and then a win away at Sheffield Wednesday, but only 1-0. When they were playing when Sheffield United were playing really badly as well. So it's and these goals 1-0, 1-1, 1-1, 0-2 defeat, 2-1 win, and 1-0 win for Millwall are showing that they're not really clicking enough yet. I think they will do, but that front line for me doesn't quite do it. Swansea Millwall 0-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, and 3-1. I think Swansea can score. I think that they'll be just trying to get a win and trying to get a result and 3 points here. I think once they've got a goal, they'll sit and think, right, that's it. We're going to close the gate. Let's not try and get more and lose the lead. I think we're going to go with Swansea 1, Millwall 0. But this could really be either way, couldn't it? It really could. I'm just giving Swansea the benefit of the doubt for being at home. So who's next up? It's Wrexham versus Derby County. Wrexham versus Derby County. This is another 12:30 game. We have Wrexham in 16th, Derby County in 22nd, with both Sheffield clubs below them. Who would have thought that at this time of the season? We got Wrexham, draw, win, lose, win. They're doing quite well, but I think this period of amazement that we're doing quite so well as this will slowly wear off. It does, and a lot of teams that come up from League One tend to do really, really well. Reading did well one season and went straight up into first place by Christmas, and then they finished halfway down the table. And Rotherham, when they stayed up last time, they were in fourth place when they went up and boom, straight up into fourth place in the Championship, and then Warren left and we went straight down the bottom. It does happen, and I don't. Will it happen to Wrexham? I don't know. I haven't a clue. But at the minute, they're playing really well. They're getting the scores. The only defeat there was at home, 3-1 to QPR. Last time out, Reading. Let's just have a look at that. So again, nice continuous play here. It was good all the way through. 18 shots, 7 on target. Look, that the stats here don't actually. I don't care about the stats here. They don't actually mean anything. I thought Reading were the better team just about on the day here. They'll have been really gutted that they didn't get a draw. They'll have been gutted that they lost 2-0. Certainly, I think Wrexham were the better team, but I think that Reading will be kicking themselves in this game. They were allowed to play, and they were allowed to have the ball. They just didn't do enough with it when they were asked to do something or given the chance to do something with it. And then you've got the poor, what I think was a poor Norwich side. They won away to Norwich 3-2, and they allowed that Norwich side to come back. Which if I think they should have closed the door and stopped it immediately. Just allowed Norwich, a good Norwich team. Sargent there. If you give him the ball in the wrong place, it's in the net, and. Just gave him a little bit too much room for me. Okay, they won it. I do agree, but they did. Derby County then lose, draw, win, lose. Blimey, they're all over the place. Good win against West Brom, and then the last time out, Derby 0, Preston 1. But I said before, Preston for me are the amazing side, the one to watch this season. They really are playing some really good football. And I've been saying they're going to win, and Preston fans have been, oh no, you got it wrong, we're going to lose or we're going to draw. And you've got to have more confidence. And then they won. Absolutely. Derby County 0, Preston 1. Preston were a fraction ahead in this game. Probably in all areas, passing, in abilities, in technicality of football, in enjoyment for a neutral as well. I think Preston were just ahead here, and that surprises me because that Derby County team is bloody good. Which sort of brings me back to this game here, Wrexham versus Derby County. This is for me two teams that are very, very similar. What are you saying? 1-1, 2-2, 1-2, 2-1. I think there's only one place I can go here. It's Wrexham 2, Derby 2. I'm sitting on the fence, guys. I'm going to Charlton versus Blackburn. Now, Charlton versus Blackburn is our first 3 p.m. kickoff. It's Charlton in 12th, Blackburn in 18th. Occasionally, this Blackburn team has seen been on the wrong end of some decisions, and occasionally it's been on the right end of some decisions that they shouldn't have been on. It seems to be a mixed bag as far as refereeing this season in both League One and the Championship. And Blackburn do seem to have had a few iffy ones along the way. From what I've seen, Charlton, we have draw, lose, 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 draw, win. Win against Sheffield United last time out, really late, wasn't it? 90 minutes from Olaf there. And they sort of deserved it for me. I mean, Sheffield United, again, only having one shot in the entire game on target. I was actually quite surprised that Charlton did have more shots on target themselves. They did shoot on target, and there were some pretty good saves there, but not quite the outstanding. Mind you, their new manager bounce. I think they went there expecting Sheffield United to suddenly change like that overnight, and same players, I'm afraid. Okay, you had the better ones on the field from the start this time instead of putting them on the bench, but this Charlton side did eventually, on 90 minutes, manage to overturn it. 63% possession for Sheffield United. We've been seeing that, haven't we? Keeping the possession, keeping the ball, but doing absolutely bugger all with it. I think Charlton managed to play the game here just in time. Blackburn against the Watford side, of course. Watford 0, Blackburn 1. And again, this game almost dead even, apart from the fact that Watford just couldn't hit the actual target. They could shoot, but they just couldn't hit the target. Only one shot on target for Watford, 5 on target for Blackburn. And of course, even stats alone, I think you can play the stats here, because the technicality in that final third for me, Blackburn did just run the roost here just a little bit. Deserved the 1-0? Absolutely. Charlton versus Blackburn, what are you saying? 1-2, 1-2, 1-0, 2-1. Oh, God. 0-1 and 1-1. Right. Thank you very much. That's really helpful, you lot. I'm just... I know a lot of people are thinking that Charlton are going to get found out, and they're just running the luck a few times, like the 1-1 Millwall and the 1-0 win late on to Sheffield United. A lot of people thinking if anybody wins this, it's probably going to be Blackburn, but I'm going to go with Charlton 1, Blackburn 0, and I'm going to quickly disappear onto the next game, which is Ipswich versus Portsmouth. Portsmouth in 13th and Ipswich in 17th. Portsmouth 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. Ipswich 1 win, 3 draws and 1 defeat. And I say that for a reason, because you look at the figures here. Ipswich draw, lose, draw, and a win 5-0 last time out against Sheffield United. Well, we know that one was the key to the sacking of the manager there. They were, to me, 21 shots for Ipswich, 11 on target, 5 in the net. I was looking at this and thinking they should be at least 6 or 7 up. They really should be at least 6 or 7 up. Even George Hurst scored, for God's sake. This side was running really, really well and playing really, really well, and it was enjoyable to watch, but sometimes they just lack the follow-through. And I know it seems strange, doesn't it? John's telling us we've got lack of follow-through, and we won 5-0, for God's sake. But it should have been a lot more. I mean, you've got to think you were 4-0 up after 68 minutes. And we're thinking, oh, well, this could be 5, 6, 7, couldn't it? And, 78 minutes, 5-0. It just, from then on, it seemed like we were just, we'll not disgrace them too much, we'll leave them alone. And then it just didn't quite have that sort of killer instinct after that, as if we were trying to just like let's not take the piss. Portsmouth, on the other hand, they played Sheffield Wednesday last 2-0 defeat against Sheffield Wednesday, giving them their first win. Portsmouth were, I mean, the nearest club to me in the Championship is Portsmouth, and Southampton just right in the middle really. And Portsmouth were 25 shots, 5 on target, none in the net. Sheffield Wednesday 13 shots, 8 on target, 2 in the net. Wednesday actually deserved to win this. They really did deserve to win it, and forget the shots that Portsmouth had. The local fans came back there saying we played absolutely atrociously. They really did, which is not what you see. This is where the stats do lie. The stats are not something to follow. So don't look at the stats and say, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Portsmouth played really well. No, you ask the locals who went to the game. They played shit. So yeah, I'm gonna trust the locals. I'm gonna trust the Portsmouth fans. They didn't play well in that game, and as soon as Barry Bannon scored, that was it. It was a case of just passing it around in your own half and not doing anything with it, which is what seems to have come from that game. So 5-0 thumping of Sheffield United for Ipswich, and a 2-0 defeat to Sheffield Wednesday for Portsmouth. They both played Sheffield teams last time out. What are you thinking? Ipswich, Portsmouth 2-1, 3-1, 2-0, 2-1 and 3-0. I actually think that this is a very good defensive side when it can be. Certainly wasn't against Sheffield Wednesday. But it can. I think that this can be. I'm going to play another joker because I think it's going to be Ipswich 1, Portsmouth 1, and I think Portsmouth would take that after losing against Sheffield Wednesday. And we'll move on to the next game, which is Oxford versus, guess who? Sheffield United. So it is Oxford in 20th, Sheffield United in 24th. 6 games played, 6 defeats, minus 12 goal difference, and they sit behind their arch rivals Sheffield Wednesday in 23rd. We have Oxford lose, draw, win against Bristol City, and it's win against a very good Bristol City, 3-1 away from home. That shows how well this Oxford side can play and how they've managed to just turn the table. I mean, a draw against Coventry 2-2, that sort of triggered me to think, especially after a 6-0 thumping at home to Brighton, you expect them to be a bit demoralised, but no, 2-2, damn good draw against a really good Coventry side. 2-2 in the next game out. Damn good draw again against a very good Leicester side. And then a 3-1 win against a really good Bristol City side. I'm impressed by this Oxford side. They certainly have turned things around. Even from that game, that defeat to Birmingham 1-0 away, they really have turned their tables very well. Sheffield United, though, lose. Oh dear. I don't seem to have got any. In fact, the chances. I think they got 2 shots on target, didn't they? In the Charlton game, which is the same amount of shots on target that they've had in the previous 6 games, including the cup game there. Ouch. So Charlton won. It was Sheffield United 0. Charlton won 90 minutes. We did look at this one earlier. I mean, Sheffield United, it was just the fact that they only got 1 on target. And that's it. That's just it. There's nothing else in this one, Sheffield United fans. It should have been a draw. If you look at everything else, apart from the fact that Sheffield United played it a lot better but always at the back in their half of the pitch. Sprinting out there, getting forward, and they both had 13 shots at target. It's just that Sheffield United could only have one on target. And that's been the issue all the way through, hasn't it? I think you've had about 5 shots on target in the entire season, something like that. It's certainly not a lot, and whether I'm sort of out by 1 or 2 doesn't really matter. They're not shooting enough on target. This Charlton side just managed to sneak it in, didn't they? And all I can see here is an Oxford win. All I can see here is an Oxford win. What are you saying? It's Oxford, Sheffield United, 1-1, 2-2, 1-1, 0-2, 3-2. Now, a lot of people here are saying there's going to be lots of goals. I can't see Sheffield United scoring lots of goals. I really can't. I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong, Sheffield United fans. You know, Rotherham fans get on with Sheffield United fans. I do hope I'm absolutely blisteringly wrong and you get a 3-0 win away at Oxford, but I just cannot see it. And I'm gonna have to come off the fence somewhere, aren't I? I think I'm gonna go different from everybody again and go Oxford 2, Sheffield United 0. I'm going to go 2-0. We nearly went 2-1. Will they score? I think if they score, I think they might win it. If they score, they may win this one 1-0. No, I'm going to say that if they score, I think Sheffield United will all men to the pumps and defend like Billio. So I think we're going to stick with that 2-0 to Oxford. Preston North End versus Bristol City. 2 teams doing extremely well next, and this is really exciting for me. I've been watching this Preston side and been really excited about their play. Their style of play, the people they brought in, has actually been really entertaining, really good ones to watch. Preston, let's look at the table first. Bristol City in 3rd, rightly so, brilliant so far. And same number of points, 11, as Preston in 5th. But they're scoring more. Bristol City, the goal difference is 4 more at least. Preston North End, win, lose, draw, win. So, yeah, okay, they've had a bit of a blip, but they've still been playing really well. And, they have been playing really well, Preston North End. Derby County last time out, a 1-0 win away at Derby. And then this one, I think that, Preston just ahead in every single point in this game. And I loved this game because Derby County were passing it extreme. It was really good to watch. As a neutral, the Derby County play was brilliant. And watching that great passing, the fluidity of it was brilliant. Preston, again, when they got the ball, fluidity brilliant, and the passing brilliant. You almost didn't, if you could take that divine goal off on 29 minutes, you could absolutely see this one being a draw. I think Preston they were more attacking and they probably did just deserve that 1-0 win. To me, look, we'll always have the people coming on saying, "Oh, you didn't think about the referee's decision here." I did last week at the end of last week's, but we've got to assume that the referees, we're going to get as many positives from bad refereeing decisions as we are negatives, and we can't really bring that into play in this game. In this prediction video. So Preston versus Bristol City. Bristol City draw, lose, win, lose. Last time out, a 3-1 defeat to Oxford. Now this is really critical, because Bristol City, they really did do really well, but Oxford did. They managed to get through that defence really rather too easy. 18 times. But they tend to just burst through. Oxford are taking them on the break, but they were taking on the break very, very easy, very quickly. And a third of their shots were actually on target. So they deserved a 3-1 win here, and I think that they absolutely deserved a 3-1 win. Could Bristol City have done better? I think they could have done better defensively, trying to defend themselves against the break. Here would have been better. When they had the ball, they played it really well in their own final third. Again, it's great having possession, guys, but you've got to do something with it. That was my problem with the Bristol City side, and they've been getting good results But at the end of the day, playing good against most of the teams, and then coming out and just not really turning up against Oxford, I don't think, even though they were at home. It must have been quite bad for the Bristol City fans. And this is something we used to get with Bristol City, isn't it? I mean, let's face it, how many times with Rotherham in the Championship, it was like a case of, we're playing Bristol, I wonder if they'll turn up today. And it was 50-50, flick of a coin. All right, okay, are they... Oh, heads, they're turning up. Brilliant. Preston North End versus Bristol City. What are you saying? Preston North End at home, 2-1, 1-0, 2-2, 1-1, 1-2. You're all very much on the fence. I think that this Preston side's being really, really good, and I don't want to start saying that they're home against Borough 2-2. The one before that, home 3-2 defeat against Wrexham. So they can be beatable against a creative side that takes them on the break. Bristol City, they can do that. They absolutely can do that. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win. The only thing is, I can't tell you which way round it's going to be, because this could be a 2-1 win for Bristol. It could be a 2-1 win for Preston North End. Blow it. We'll stay with the home team. Preston North End 2, Bristol City 1. Do like and subscribe. Tell me down below what you think, and give me your comments as we go on to the next game, which is Sheffield Wednesday versus QPR. What a win for Sheffield Wednesday. They, of course, sit in 23rd on 4 points, and Sheffield United below them on 0. And we have QPR in 9th on 10 points. They've lost 2 this season, though, and those 2 coming just 4 and 5 games ago, with a third defeat in the Cup the game before against Plymouth. So Sheffield Wednesday, draw, lose, win against Portsmouth, and that win, Portsmouth had, they really did play to keep the ball, and they did keep the ball, but Sheffield Wednesday, when they had it, did something with it, and Portsmouth were just, when they didn't have the ball, played garbage. But when they did have the ball, they didn't play that well either, apparently, according to the locals that went down to see it. So live now down in Portsmouth, and that game was pretty dismal by Portsmouth standards. Wednesday deservedly won it, and they showed that they can actually take the bull by the horns, especially when that Barry Bannon goal went in on 12. They were just they didn't seem to be looking back at all, did they? Whereas you've got the QPR side, lose, win 3-0. Can they make it 4? Wrexham last time out away was last away game, 3-1 win. The last game out in total was at home. It was QPR 1, Stoke City 0. QPR let Stoke play. They allowed Stoke to play, and the odd thing was it worked. The odd thing, when I'm listening to TalkSport, and TalkSport was saying the same thing, the strange thing is QPR actually allowed Stoke to play. They allowed them to have the ball. But, as soon as they got tried into that final third, they just took it from them and walked off with it. Like they said at TalkSport, it worked. I don't know how, I don't know why, but their game plan worked. This obviously was the game plan. If it wasn't, it was a bloody good non-game plan, I tell you. 35% possession for QPR, but they had twice as many shots as Stoke, because they made sure that when they got in the final third, they took the ball from them. It was a really good display, although the passing for QPR was a bit awry, and for me, if Stoke could have managed to pick up more on those poor passes, I think they would have probably got something from this game. But at the end of the day, they didn't. Sheffield Wednesday versus QPR. I don't think this is as one-sided as you think. 1-2, 1-3, 1-3, 0-2, 1-2. Nobody's going for a Sheffield Wednesday win. Nobody's going for a draw. Now, I think this could be a 1-1 draw. This could be a 1-1 draw. Absolutely. But I think QPR will just sneak this one. And I mean just like a 92nd minute winner. Sheffield Wednesday 1, QPR 2. Let's go to Southampton next, and let's go to St Mary's, and it's Southampton versus Middlesbrough. Borough in first, of course. Southampton down there in 19th. They could actually find themselves in deep trouble if they lose this one. But they're playing a team in first for a reason. Southampton lose, win, draw, lose. The last time out, Carabao Cup 2-1 defeat to Liverpool. Can't count that. But the one before that, the Hull City 3-1 defeat away from home, we can. I remember they had that 0-0, really dreadfully boring as far as... I suppose as far as either side again were concerned, it's not a derby, it's a battle. Southampton 0, Portsmouth 0. The local battle. Last time in the league was Hull City 3, Southampton 1, and they only scored on 90 plus 5 minutes. Southampton, so. It was a game of lots of shots for Southampton, just not as many on target as what they would have liked. And Hull City's precision up front, 4 on target, 3 in the net. You can't argue with it, can you? Their luck just seems to be in, doesn't it? 29% possession, 11 shots, 4 on target, 3 in the net. What figures! And I was astonished by that scoreline. So we go to Middlesbrough, and it's lose, win, draw, win. That defeat actually was the 4-0 defeat at home to Doncaster Rovers in the Carabao Cup. After that, though, 4 wins and 1 draw. Preston North End 2-2. This is where I say that was a damn good display by Preston. It was a good display by Middlesbrough as well, I thought. Last time out there, Borough 2, West Brom 1-1 came on 90 minutes, didn't it, of course. West Brom here played reasonably well. Probably, West Brom didn't play really well. They played really well. The passing was I think it was the best passing of the entire weekend. Their passing was astonishing. And they got into the final third. I can't say they didn't. They did. They just didn't convert enough of them to shots at target. A lot of the time things were just blocked. They had as many shots off target as they got blocked. So it was just a maddeningly frustrating day for West Brom, where Borough just managed to get bodies behind or in front of the attacker. Enough defenders back in words. So was that skill by Borough, or was that just blasting a goal by West Brom? I think it was skill by Borough. Borough's defence actually is, to me, is really good. If you look at their scores against, obviously forget the Doncaster one, 0-1 against Norwich. 0 against Sheffield United, 2 against Preston, and they let 1 in on 90 minutes against West Brom. But this Borough side, actually, its defence is really good. It's one of the best that I've seen, and I just think that they're going to be too much defensive-wise for Southampton. However, Southampton also have a very good defence, and as was seen against Portsmouth in that 0-0 draw. So what are you saying for this game? You're saying it's Southampton Borough 0-1, 1-2, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. You know something? I'm going to go Southampton 1, Borough 2. I've changed it at the last minute. I was going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for an away win for Borough. I am actually convinced that this side can get one more. I think that Southampton will score. I think that Borough will score one more. We go to our next last game, Stoke City versus Norwich next, and Stoke City Stoke City are in second, so they've been doing really well, haven't they? And I've been really impressed by how high they've got up that table. The defence was a bit frail last season, but it seems to be quite good this season, doesn't it? Norwich City, 15th, playing some. They played some really naff football, but they've also been playing some better football in the last 2 or 3 games. Stoke City win, lose, win, lose, and of course that second place is going to be a bit iffy if you can't win your games. Which one's the league games? Carabao Cup, Championship. So the last 3 games they've won 1, lost 2, and they've all been 1-0. So this shows you that they just need to. This shows you what this team's been doing, doesn't it? QPR 1, Stoke City 0. Stoke City having lots of possession, 65% possession. Like I said, they've played some good football, some good passing football even in the back 2/3, not just in their own half. They managed to get forward, this Stoke side. They just don't seem to be. I mean, one shot on target is just really where that Stoke City side coming from. The win 1-0 against Birmingham, just to go there. They only had 3 shots on target there and 1 in the net, but Birmingham had 0. So it's 3 shots on target in the entire game in all 90 minutes. My God. I didn't like watching that one. I really didn't like watching that one. Norwich City, on the other hand, win, lose, win, draw, lose. Last time out, Norwich City 2, Wrexham 3. Look, Norwich City doing their usual 90 plus 2 minutes for their last goal. I think they had 2. They regularly did it. They've been regularly doing it for seasons, haven't they? Winning it in the last dying embers of the extra time. Then well known for it. Norwich City here, they were actually well on top of Wrexham. They were really on top, and they did actually play a good game of football. It's just that Wrexham's were more clinical. However, the Wrexham defence is still a little bit shaky. Letting Norwich in, although they are at home, I do agree. They were at home. They let Norwich have 62% possession, 14 shots, 5 on target, 2 in the net. Norwich would have thought that would have been a winner. Most weekends that would have been a winner. But Wrexham had, with 38%, had 11 shots, 8 on target, 3 in the net. So realistically, they got in past that Norwich defence and right up against an open position to shoot at target far too often. So the Norwich defence for me a little bit more shaky than the Stoke City one is at present. But for me, Stoke City need to be able to score and get it on target more. That means that it's going to be rather a difficult one for me. I don't think this is going to be too far apart from either of them. 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 2-2, 2-2. I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going to go for Stoke City 1, Norwich City 1, and we'll go to Watford Hull, our last game of the weekend. 3 p.m. kickoff, of course. It's not Birmingham, Watford Hull. Where are we? Hull City in 14th, Watford in 21st. I'm surprised where Watford are, because they've actually been, they impressed me in the first few games. They really did. I enjoyed their football, and I can't always say that about a Watford team, but I can here. For Watford, lose, win, draw, lose. Last time out, Millwall, of course. We said about that. They just, I think they'll have found themselves unlucky. They really should have got at least a draw from this. Again, just not quite running for them. The game before, let's have a quick scan at that one and what people are saying. You see, Watford had 14 shots and 1 on target. They'll have been feeling bitterly disappointed they couldn't get more on target than just 1 out of 14, surely to God. But Hull City have been playing really well, haven't they? Draw, win, lose, draw, win, and the last win was at home against Southampton, none other than. And Southampton actually scored on 90 plus 5 minutes, remember. So with very little play, Hull City managed to be just a hell of a lot more clinical. 4 shots on target, 3 in the net. That's all we need to know. Yes, they let Southampton play, but just like QPR did, they let Southampton play and they just couldn't get. The Southampton side were just never going to be. They never really made, for me, a decent effort. It was all sort of like a half-hearted shot. Yes, we got the bar and yes, we got the post, but that it's still classed as off target. So, with that in mind, I think that Hull City have been playing some really outstanding football. Will letting Watford have the ball work here? I'm not quite sure it will. I think there's going to be possibility of goals in this one, definitely. But Watford are going to have to get more of those shots on target. Watford Hull 1-1, 2-3, 0-2, 0-2, 1-1. Most of you going for a Hull City win here because it's just. The luck seems to be with them. I can see this being a Desmond 2-2. I'm actually going to go and agree with someone. I'm going to go with Watford 2, Hull City 3. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe and do comment down below your scores for this week and for the week after if you can, and we'll include them in the next week's prediction video. Thank you for watching. Join us at Sports Channel. Over and out for another Championship prediction video.